Hey guys, it's me, SD Vaughn here with another video. And then in this video, we're going to be talking about Dr. Stone. I've been very invested and very intrigued by its story, so I want to make a video on it. I have loved Dr. Stone ever since I got the first volume, and been collecting the manga ever since. But the stories was really got me hooked on it, especially when I read the premise of the first volume. Instantly bought the first volume and the 2 or 3 volumes that were already out at the same time at the time I got volume 1, which is a year later after the manga got serialized. So I've been keeping up with the manga, both using the Viz website, and I've been keeping up with it. Collecting the manga, of course. Collecting the manga, of course. So, so I'm up to date with everything concerning Dr. Stone, the manga. Of course, I watched both seasons of the anime. So I know everything that's going on in the story currently. To that point, the video that I wanted to make here for Dr. Stone is about the very thing that caused the story. The device that turned everyone to stone in volume 1 of the manga. The Medusa, well, at least what we call it, the Medusa. The Medusa device. With the Medusa, we did a glimpse of it in chapter 103, volume 12 of the manga, where Kohaku says that she sees a light. And then all you see in the panel, I think either before or after that, is Ryusui is now turned to stone, because what you'll see in chapters 108, where you see Chrome, Ryusui's perspective of getting turned to stone, you see them just seeing that light, and then trying. I think some of them are trying to attack it and all that stuff, and it's not gonna work, of course. And they get turned to stone. So everyone gets turned to stone except for Senku, Soyuz, Kohaku, Gen, and then the 2 that were still on the boat, Suika and Genro. Kaseki or Kaseki, or however you want to pronounce it. Chrome, Ryusui, Kinro, Hyoga, and the other girl whose name I'll probably have below right here, all turned to stone. Everyone else managed to escape and avoid being turned to stone. Oh yeah. So I guess I already covered much of it. We see it in action, always being thrown. At least for the most part, it was primarily being used by Kirisame when she threw it to petrify everyone on the boat in chapter 103, and we see the perspective in 106 and 108, and we see her throw it in Amaros's flashback in chapters 106 when Senku and crew find her because they need someone on the island to help them out, figure out what's going on with the Medusa and all the other stuff. So she tells them what she knows of the Medusa, which leads Senku to need to revive his crew so they can make a drone so they can catch the Medusa as she throws it in the air to make it like a tug-of-war battle. So that happens in chapter 106 with that flashback. So those are the instances we get to see it in action of the Medusa itself. All right, and also to note, we get a full view, a good look at what the Medusa looks like in chapter 121. But yeah, speaking of which, how to activate it. Yeah, you have to specify like meters and minutes, or just as far as we know with the Medusa, you have to speak how many meters, I guess the blast radius, and how long before the Medusa will activate to use it. Because my favorite example of this is where Ibarra, after realizing that Senku and crew can revive people from the stone, literally dips off the boat. He forces this dude named Orashi, or I'm just gonna call him Or, I can't pronounce his name. He forces him to swallow it, tells him to run to the center of the island. The point of that is when activating it, Ibarra
set it for 2,000 meters in 15 minutes when he activated Medusa and had him eat it and run to the island. So that was just my favorite example of the use of the Medusa so far.
This whole video is about um, how many times the Medusa has been used and petrified people. I counted 10 times, 10 times at least for me that I counted of Medusa being used so far, all the way up until the current part in the story. There may have been multiple other times because during the Treasure Island arc, we can assume that anyone that tried to leave the island, Ibarra had Kirisame stone everyone. And they've just been sitting underwater this entire time. And of course, the flashback by Matsukaze, I may count that one because I think that was in the flashback, so it would be technically 11. So I would count that one. But I'm only going to list the 10 because I can't remember if they actually show people being. So I'm only going to count 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Matsukaze's, and if I'm butchering his name, too. If in this flashback you actually do see everyone turn to stone, I know he was turned to stone. I just don't know if you actually see him get turned to stone in that flashback. I'll have to check. And if I do, I'll probably give that to future me.
Hey, past me. So you're right. Well, you weren't right, but I went back to the manga, and yeah, Matsukaze does do a flashback after the Treasure Island arc in chapters 146. So yeah, that makes 11 times. 11 times. That someone was turned to stone. So right back at you to continue on with the video. All right, now we can get to it. Now we can get to the 10 times at least that I remember that. And if it's 11, future me, he's got this. Future me I'll edit me, future me, the me that'll probably come in after coming back through the manga again, because that the first time the Medusa that we see it being used, of course, is in the beginning of the manga. Everybody, the entire world, except for Senku's dad and everyone, the astronauts that are up there that are literally the founders of Ishigami Village. And then the second time, of course, is where we already mentioned, is when Kirisame throws it in chapters 103 to turn Ryusui, Chrome, Kiseki, Kinro, Hyoga, and wow, I really can't remember her name. But yeah, again, I'll have her name down here. All turned stone. While, of course, Senku, Soyuz, Kohaku, Gen, Genro, and Suika are the ones that do not get turned to stone. Yeah, the third time we see it, you see the Medusa being used is in Amaryllis' flashback in chapters 106, which she's telling him how the event went down. They were trying to leave the island. Kirisame and Mozu were on another boat. She had the Medusa attached to a string that she threw, petrified everyone on that little boat. Amaryllis managed to escape. A piece of her hair got petrified, but she ripped it off, fell into the water, so she didn't get petrified because she was out of the range of the petrification. Yes. The fourth time is with Kohaku and Genro. So during that, they get made, especially Genro, because he discovers that the chief had been turned to stone. Ibarra finds him. He can't let him escape. He can't let him tell anybody about. He can't let any of the villagers know, anyone on the island know what was going on in there. So he takes his fingers, stabs Genro, which happens in chapter 121, and then in 122, both Kohaku and Genro get turned and petrified. Alright, so the fifth and sixth time were kind of back to back. The fifth and sixth time where Ibarra turns Kirisama into stone, as I said before, because she didn't want to turn the entire island to stone because she didn't think that's what the chief would have wanted. So Ibarra's just like, well, you were of great service, but now I'm going to turn you to stone. So he turns her to stone, and then Yo shoots his hand right after that with the gun that Senku made him, and then Ibarra drops the petrification device. Yo grabs it. He doesn't know how to use it, but then Ibarra then drops down, grabs it with his teeth, and then he petrifies Yo. All that occurs in chapters 131 and 132. Of course, we already know the seventh time was when Ibarra had petrified the entire island using Arashi to run up to the island after making him swallow up the petrification device, set to 2,000 meters in 15 minutes. And everybody got petrified except for Senku and Ibarra, who then started their battle for the Medusa. And that happens in chapter 133. The eighth and ninth time is Ibarra himself and Ryusui, which I later learned after doing some research. Ryusui's been petrified like 4 times, which is nuts. Because I was like, I didn't think about that. He got petrified the original time. He got petrified when they made it to the island when he was on the boat. Then he gets petrified when Ibarra petrifies the entire island. And then he gets revived by Senku during his battle with Ibarra to help him use the drone to get the Medusa. And then he gets petrified again by Ibarra during that battle. But then Ibarra gets petrified by Senku right after that. Which then finishes the battle. And that happens in chapter 137. The final time is in chapter 193, the kind of conclusion to this whole when Stanley and his crew finally got to a point to where they could reach and enclose against Senku and his crew. They were shooting up everybody. It didn't matter. They even tried to shoot Suika, a child. So they were trying to shoot her. Everything was coming to a climax. They discovered that they made a new diamond to power the Medusa, which was being developed in Corn City. And so Joel, this new guy they revived, had a watch, which also I guess had a radio or something that could broadcast a signal, frequency and all that stuff. So while everyone's trying to grab the Medusa over there in Corn City, Joel managed to get it with his hand slammed on this little case wherever Brody had put the Medusa in, and he has his watch broadcasting Y-Man's message, which then tells him to petrify the whole world again. So that happens.
So that's all the times that everyone has been petrified thus far with the Medusa. I really love talking about Dr. Stone. I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I like that in the latest chapter, they also, they're still working on making this rocket so it can go to the moon to confront Y-Man to figure out what everything's going on.
All right, yeah, quick side note here, as I'm ending the video here. The reason why I would also did this video is just because due to the fact, and also manga spoilers, when everyone gets revived by Suika after getting petrified in chapter 193, and I believe in chapter 198, I believe right around the time they're about to revive Zeno again after that whole confrontation with Stanley and his crew, Chrome, Senku, and Tsukasa, with Gin eavesdropping, discussed the fact that Tsukasa was stating and confirmed that Hyoga did die during that battle. Like, he died in that moment, but when he got petrified, he came back to life, and this is when they discovered that humanity now has immortality with the Medusa device. So that's what made me want to make this video about the fact that, the petrification, the fact that, you technically don't age when you're petrified. Like, Senku and them didn't age, and the fact that as long as you're petrified, you don't age. You could practically, only in the fact that as long as you stay petrified, you live forever. But but once you're unpetrified, you know, you age and all the other stuff. But I wonder if there'll be side effects, you know, being petrified so many times. But yeah, that's just the quick reason of why I wanted to do this video. It's just I mean, because I'm later going to be doing videos about the fact of immortality with the Medusa and the implications of using the Medusa, reviving people who've been petrified by the Medusa and all other stuff. But yeah, let's get back to the video.
But I will be coming out with more videos. Also got another video coming out to go over the recent chapter of Dr. Stone before the next chapter comes out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. I'm going to have more Dr. Stone videos, more manga videos as my channel comes along. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later.